Welcome back to our OnShape tutorial videos for 1.2.5. And in the last video, we made a cylinder and a half circle block using the extrude tool. And I kind of teased that we were going to be creating a different shape in this video. Let me see if I can find what happened to that one. So that was going to be this one here. So we're going to create this shape. So first thing, we'll jump back to OnShape, and I'm going to make a new tab with a new Part Studio. All right, then within this one, first thing we're going to do, we're going to use the revolve technique we just learned about to create this sort of cylinder shape that everything else is going to be based off of. So before we launch into that, we need to plan it out a little bit. The height is going to be 30, and the radius is what we want, is going to be half of 40. This little symbol, remember, means diameter. So our diameter of our outside circle here, our cylinder, is 40. When we're doing a revolve, we want half of the diameter, or the radius. In this case, 20. So our rectangle is going to be 20 wide and 30 tall. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to do that on the front view. We're going to do it on the front view, and then when we revolve it, it's going to create this cylinder shape. So let's try it out. So remember we said we're going to do it on the front plane. So sketch, we'll select our front plane, then we'll hide it, orient our view cube how we want. We said we want it 20 by 30. Right away I can see we have a problem. You maybe spotted it. All the dimensions are in millimeters. Everything in our drawing is in, oops, I'll hit escape to get out of that. Everything in our drawing was in inches, but do not fret. So in our OnShape menu here, we can go up to the little hamburger symbol or the three lines, go down to workspace units, and we can switch our default length unit to millimeters. So do that and then hit the green check. And now, when we did that, it got out of our sketch. So to get back into our sketch, we're going to double click over on sketch 1. So now we can go ahead and dimension everything properly. So now if I click this side, it's 62 millimeters. We want to shorten that to 20. And then we said this one was going to be 30. So 30 tall by 20 wide. Hit the green check. Let's go to our isometric so we can see a little bit better what's happening. Then we're going to do our revolve. Click this face. Your revolve axis, hopefully you can predict what I'm going to click on. I'm going to click right over the origin, this one that's going vertical. And we're going to do a full 360 degrees. So we're going to click the green check. And we should have, let's see if I can measure the diameter. It says the diameter is 40 millimeters. So that's exactly what we wanted. That's what we saw over on our drawing here. So next up, we're going to create this sort of rectangular, sort of square shape up here. So it looks like that piece is going to be 15 millimeters tall, and the depth of the square and the width of the square is going to be 10 and 10. And it looks like it's centered right around the origin point, or the middle of our circle, or our cylinder. So we'll make a square that's 10 by 10 that's centered at the origin, and then we'll make it 15 millimeters tall. So in order to do that, I'm going to make a sketch, and I want it coming right out of the top of our cylinder. So I'll click on the top of our cylinder to make our sketch. So instead of clicking a normal plane, one of our original planes, I'm going to click on the actual top of our cylinder. So it's our sketch plane is the face of revolve 1. If I hover over this, it kind of highlights it. So then from here, let's orient our view cube to be looking at the top. I'm going to create a square, but I don't want a corner rectangle because then it's going to be harder to center it. I'm going to do what's called a center point rectangle. So you may need to click the drop down to select that. And then you'll want to click at the origin. And as you position it, it's going to make sure that the center of your square or rectangle is right in the middle at the origin. So I'll just place it, hit escape so that I'm not creating another square. When I click next, go up to dimension, and we want this to be 10 by 10, like I said. So 10 by 10, that looks pretty good. And then I will click the green check to finish it. Go back to your isometric so you can see what we're doing. Then we're going to extrude that, and I believe it was 15. We can double check. So I'm just going to type in 15. Let's bring that back up. And yep, it was 15. So we've got our rectangle in place. Nice. And correct there. So next, a couple things I'm noticing. We've got this sort of curve where it's like transitioning from the rectangle down to our cylinder. Then we've also got this down here. So we're going to start with this little curved section. You can kind of see it here. It rounds that edge from one face to the other. It's got a radius of 5, that curve does. That's going to be called a fillet. So up here, you should have the option for fillet. It's going to be Shift F. You may even need to use the drop down. But I'm just going to click on the symbol for fillet. That's F-I-L-L-E-T. And all you need to do for a fillet is click the faces that you want to fillet. And nope, that's not how you do a fillet. We're going to click the corners that we want to fillet. So this one, notice how as I click, it's kind of creating that nice fillet shape. And you want to click down here. And we'll just kind of rotate our view cube to move around the shape. And it looks like we're good. So I can hit Shift 7 to go to my isometric. Looks like our radius defaulted to 5 millimeters. So we're just going to click the green check. And let's make sure it looks okay. Looks pretty good. Next up, we're going to do this down here. And that's not a rounded kind of transition like our fillet was, which is a nice curve. This is going to be what's called a chamfer. So a chamfer can be specified a couple different ways. Here they're specifying an angle and a distance. So the distance of the chamfer is 5 and the angle is 30 degrees. So I want to orient my view cube to the front face so we can see that edge. Otherwise, if I'm in my isometric, you really can't even see that bottom corner with that bottom edge. So let's go to our front view. Up here, you can find the chamfer tool. It looks like there isn't a shortcut for it, so you will need to click on this button. So chamfer, we want to select distance and angle. If you're under equal distance, it's always just going to be the same distance up and left to right. You can do 2 different distances, but we're going to do distance and angle because that's what our drawing gave us. So remember, it was 5 millimeters and 30 degrees. So let's first click that bottom edge, and then we're going to do 5 and 30. Hit enter, and it's looking pretty good. Let's double check it. That looks about right. So we'll click the green check, and we are good to go. Notice you don't really want to check it from your isometric because you can't see it. So you may need to go to a front view or a right view or even a kind of bottom view. If you click the bottom corner here, you can maybe see that a little bit better. All right, so we're done with this shape. And in the next video, the last part, I'm going to show you how to create this interesting shape. So we'll put together quite a few different ideas that we've been working on in the first few lessons here. That'll show us how to create this nice shape. All right, so thanks for watching this one. I will see you in the next video.